Hey guys, how's it going here? It is Carter here, and today we are talking about a new game coming in December of 2019. It is Automobilista 2. It's had quite a bit of support, it seems like, from the racing community. I know I'm personally excited about it, but uh, I do have some concerns, and Race Department recently had some interviews with the one of the developers, and he answered some questions that kind of left me a little confused, a little worried. There's just some possibilities there for issues, in my opinion. So I have some notes here, and we'll just talk about the game in general, what he said, what I know. This is all from my understanding, so it's kind of speculation and stuff. So nothing's guaranteed here. This is all my opinion. Also, notes I've taken from the interview. So it'll be running on the Madness engine. So for those of you that don't know what the Madness engine is, that is the Project Cars 2 engine. So it'll essentially, hopefully, feel like Automobilista, but look like Project Cars. And if they can hit that, then that's essentially what that'll be, is an updated Automobilista and like a better version of R Factor. Essentially, is what it'll be, in my opinion. But there is some concerns, and we'll go into that. So one of the things they're having to like completely redo is the tire model. And for those of you that don't know, AMS and R Factor both have really, really, really good tire models. So they're pretty much, from my understanding, recreating it all. So that could be hit or miss for all I know. Yeah, so I don't know what I was about to say there, but yeah, new tire model. It could be good, it could be bad. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Another thing to mention is Slightly Mad Studios has no say in it. They are literally just selling the engine to Reza. They will be selling the engine essentially, and they'll be getting a little chunk of the profit from sales. Other than that, they have no say. So I meant to put that right at the beginning. So it is still just a small studio making a big game, really. I mean, when you think about how in-depth AMS is. It seems as if right now they're trying to focus on single player, which could be good, could be bad. I know the first AMS was kind of the same way, and it kind of sounded like they'll gauge how much they put into multiplayer based on how popular multiplayer becomes. So it seems like they're not going to do like what Project Cars did, where they have a big multiplayer thing. It seems like if there's a demand for it, then they'll do it. But right off the bat, it's going to be a lot of single player, which, I mean, I wouldn't mind a good in-depth multiplayer, but whatever. Modding will not be native to the game. So the way they said it in the interview, it's going to be exactly like Project Cars 2, where if you can find a way to mod it, mod it. But if you can't, there's going to be no mods. So that could be a killer, really, honestly. But then again, ACC is not moddable. Project Cars isn't moddable, and they're still pretty popular games. ACC recently coming out, obviously, but still seems to be fairly popular. But that kind of leads into the next subject, which is they seem to be focusing heavily, and I mean heavily, on expansions. So instead of mods, I assume what they're going to do is listen to the community, see what people want, and then they'll possibly look into start working on it, and they will add it into the game. Some of the things they had mentioned right away are going to be I believe it's the McLaren F1 cars, I think that's what they said, and career mode. Career mode, they said, probably won't be a big main feature in the original game. That'll be an expansion. So whether that's a paid or free expansion, we don't know. They didn't really say, but it's an expansion. So that could potentially mean that they're going to be really, really focusing on DLC content, which, I don't know. That really started kind of knocking some points off for me in my excitement. So one more thing when we're talking about expansions and what could be in the game and what could not be in the game. It will feature rallycross and stadium trucks, most likely once again in an expansion. That's at least what I've got from the interview. That's what it seemed like it said. That's how I interpreted it. If I'm wrong, feel free to leave a comment. I already understand this probably could be a maybe not that popular video if people actually watch it. Who knows? Another thing that probably won't be in the game, they said, is oval racing. So all you NASCAR fans, it looks like you'll be stuck to iRacing and R-Factor 2. AMS 2 will not feature oval racing natively. So whether or not someone can figure out how to mod the game or play a different game, that's all there really is to it. And then finally, the thing that kind of worries me a little bit is damage is not, from what they said in the interview, damage is not a priority right now. So what they're focusing on, they said, is physics, handling, tire modeling, fuel usage, engine modeling, stuff like that. So damage, whether it be physical or visual, it's not at the top of the priority list. So for those of you that like to, really feel and see what kind of hits you're taking, it's probably going to feel more like Project Cars 2, where it'll show a little bit of damage here, the car will pull a little bit there, stuff like that. Nothing really too crazy. So that's a list of the pretty much basics, the very basics of what they said in the interview. I'll leave the rest for you guys to read. I'll leave links to everything down below. But here's where my concerns come in. Like I said, it's running off a Project Cars 2 engine. Project Cars 2 is a really fun game, but I'd also say it's not a very real game. If you go from Project Cars 2 to Assetto Corsa, the physics are insanely different. Project Cars 2 feels very slippy, very light. The cars feel very light. But if you go to Project Cars 2 to R-Factor 2, even bigger difference. So, in my opinion, Automobilista is more like R-Factor 2 than it is like Project Cars 2. So they could, if they do not nail down their physics, it could just be a updated Project Cars 2, which I really hope it's not. Even though Project Cars 2 is fun, don't get me wrong, but AMS is such a great, pretty hardcore sim. Not super hardcore, but it's up there in the sim. So I'd love to see it continue just with better graphics. They also said in the interview that it's probably going to feature very similar AI to what the Project Car 2 AI feels like, and that's a big turnoff. Hopefully they can do something different with it, but right now they said it's probably going to feature the same basic structure of them, which for those of you who haven't played Project Cars 2, it is rough. They take their own path and they don't care who's in it. That's basically the best way to state it. Like I said, also damage modeling as of right now it's not huge. I'm not really too worried about it. If you want huge damage modeling, go play BeamNG or Wreckfest, but it is something that they seem to keep coming back to in the interview. Tire modeling, they could really mess that up, really hit it on the head, or like I said, mess it up. Another thing they said they're working on is things such as like turbos, the way the turbos work, because a lot of people have said, I guess, the turbos are amazing in AMS 1, so hopefully they can carry it into AMS 2, but then they kind of also said it might feel like Project Cars 2, which could be bad, could be good. They were kind of really, they're kind of weird in the interviews, honestly. And then, like I said, they're leaning so heavily on expansions, at least from what they made it sound like, that this could just be, I really hope it's not, but it kind of sounds like it's going to be one of those games where it's like 30 DLCs for it. It's gonna look like what is that, Train Simulator on Steam, where they have about 180 DLCs that all cost $30 a piece. I hope it doesn't come to that. I think that's a very good way to kill a game. I would really assume that for pretty base features like a career mode, I would think that would be a free expansion, but you never know. I just know they did say expansions a lot in the interview, like a lot. And then the last big complaint I really had was no native modding support. That kind of sucks. I feel like it feels like people want more modding support, but it seems like the new sims that are coming out are giving you less modding support. So it seems kind of like it kind of feels like some games are losing their fan base from that, and then some fans would rather just stick to the older games because they can race whatever they want because they can mod it. But then it seems like more fans are coming up and focusing on like the really solid official content. So that could be hit or miss. Who knows? And in honest, in all, it just kind of feels like a big gamble right now. I have no idea how it could be. I have very high hopes for it, but that's not to say that the game couldn't suck. I mean, you never know. They're essentially switching from one engine to a whole nother engine, rewriting everything. They said they're not having too many problems with it, but I think that's more of a marketing thing. I would be amazed if they're not having a lot of problems right now. But that's not saying I don't have faith in the team either. I really do. But I am a little worried. I feel like it could just be a Project Cars 2 clone with different race leagues and different features. But right now it seems like they're really taking the skeleton of Project Cars and trying to transfer it into AMS, which kind of scares me because Project Cars is, I'd say it's a solid medium level game. It's not top tier sim racing, so I feel like that could really drive away some people. But time will tell. They said they might be doing some beta testing later in the year, but that's like when they said it's like a very late beta stage, so I would assume probably October, November is when we'll see that. And until then, all we can really do is wait for more news and speculate. But yeah, that's about it for today, you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you think the game will be good, bad, what you think it's going to be like, what you think it's going to feature. Any comments, concerns, questions, arguments you have with me, whatever it might be, leave it in the comments down below. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you didn't like it, you know what else to do. And feel free to subscribe as well. As always, guys, this was Carter. Peace out.